So this is another update on Blu-ray's journey. We still haven't got it yet. We're set for July 6th, as I mentioned earlier, if you've watched the channel at all. But I had an interesting email from Newmar, Natalie, up at Newmar, who's in the sales side. I'm going to just read you the email. It came back towards the end of March. End of April, the 22nd, actually. Your unit is over at service starting the customer pickup PDI process. Now that was a shock right there because it wasn't really set to be in the PDI process until the end of May, which I thought was kind of weird. But it looks like we missed changing the towel ring, robe hooks, and toilet paper holder on the special. Would you want those items to be changed prior to coming here? The only reason why I'm asking is because we would need to write a work order for service to have those replaced, and we would need a quote to be written. Just let me know they wanted to send pictures to show what they look like together. So attached to the email was a picture, and I'll be showing you this I edit the film here, a picture of the toilet roll holder, and you can see it's in gunmetal. A picture of the robe holder, it's in gunmetal, and you can see also this picture of the handles, which are the SXDP, polished chrome, if you will. They're not shiny, but they're chrome, and they also show a sink with towel ring right next to it. You can see the contrast between the ring and the towel ring and the faucet. And then back again, what the sink looks like in the pusher. So, and it's interesting. The first thing I thought of was, why am I paying more money for this? And if you remember from these sheets that I've got in front of me here, we had said EXDP traditional pulls and knobs throughout. We changed the sinks, the faucets, so everything was changed to that color. Now, the good thing it shows is that someone at the PDI side is on the ball. I mean, that just shows you Newmar's attention to detail because they looked at this, and as you can see by looking at the previous pictures, there's kind of a clash between the gunmetal and the nice chrome look that is in the SXDP. And they were smart enough to say, hey, there's a problem here. The customer might not be happy, and they don't want an unhappy customer. That does a lot of credit to Newmar. Now, the only thing is I was wondering, didn't we specify that? What's going on? So I had several email exchanges with Natalie, and then finally I called her. And she explained that once it leaves production and is heading over to PDI, and she'd gotten the contact from Chris, that we have to write it as a service order, which means you have to pay even a little more because you have to pay labor, wages, and what have you versus it coming through production. And so I said, well, yeah, that's kind of, we have to have it done. We can't, my wife is the artist, does not want gunmetal anywhere in. So I said, we've got to do it. We got to fix it. So then she contacted me back later and said, oh, well, I was wrong. I thought it was Chris. There's a Chris in the service center that works on the PDI coaches evidently, and that's who she thought it was. No, it was Chris in the QA department. So this even shows more that Newmar is paying attention because evidently the coach was not at the service center, which was more aligned to what I thought the timing was going to be, and was in the QA. They'd gone through all the assembly, and we showed them in the last video. You saw the pictures of the coach, and you saw how it looked as it's being assembled. Well, it had gotten assembled, hadn't gone into paint yet, and they do a QA on it, and there's a Chris there who was on the ball and caught it and said, yeah, this doesn't look right. And so I asked Natalie, I said, well, what should we have, since we specified this EXDP traditional pulls and knobs throughout, what else should we have specified? Is there something else I can share with Kurt, great sales guy in Newmar, at North Trails? If you ever need to buy a coach, if you want to buy a used coach, go talk to Kurt. And I don't do promotions. This is just my opinion because I've used him twice now. He's a great guy down at North Trails. And, I'll if I need to buy another coach someday, which hopefully I never will, but if I do, or I'm going to sell a Blueray someday, I'll be contacting Kurt because he's just a great guy. But I wanted to share with Kurt should we have an EXDP towel ring, or what would have triggered them to do it? and she responded and said, actually, no, this is a change we're making in our documentation because we didn't note down that we had to change those when we changed the pulls and such throughout the coach, and so it wasn't in their procedures, and so now it's going to be added to the procedures. Now they did say since it's still in production, they're going to go back and change it. However, the price will go up just a slight amount because that wasn't included in my original options price that was sent to North Trails and then to me for approval, and so it's a few more what 2 towel holders, 2 toilet paper holders, and a rope hook. Not that big a deal, so it will be a minor change. But the neat thing about this whole foray is it shows you that they were keeping their production schedule. It's Blueray right now is still in paint. From what I understand, it takes about 4 weeks to paint it, and so by mid-May it will be coming out and being over at the service center where it can have factory PDI. And I do have a spy that's about to get up there on the 11th, having some work done. That's going to take some pictures for me, so I can see if it happens to be there. And I think they're even going to go do a factory tour, so they might be able to take some pictures of Blueray in the factory in the paint department, because that's what by the time they get there I think they get there the 11th, 10th or 11th. By the time they get there at that point, most likely it'll still be in the factory in the paint, but it may be done because, as my friend pointed out, Mark. Hi, Mark. I'm sure you're out there watching. We have no stripes on it, so it's all going to be a solid color. So the chances of it needing to stay the full 4 weeks may be less. I don't know. So it may be done a little earlier. But of course, we still don't pick it up till July 6th. The Newmar has 2 big events that they empty out the service center. There will be no one at the service center for 2 different weeks. For different rallies they go and support. But anyway, it's good news on Blueray. It's making progress. And in the meantime, I have, and this I'll put this up so you can see it. That's a RV Life travel plan for us to go up to Newmar and all the different places we're going. We're going to go up to Mackinac Island as well. We going down to in National Indoor RV Center in Nashville, so I can get retro bands put on. I've heard about those, and I thought those are something I got to have. And we're going to go on, turn around and go back up to Mackinac Island, over to Washington, D.C. So I have lots of campgrounds, and so I will probably document as we go into each campground what the campground is like. I picked them based on RV Life reviews and what was convenient. And sometimes you have to take a campground that you might not have taken just because you don't want to drive so far. I'm real slow at driving. I don't speed, and I'll be doing probably 250 miles, no more a day. So anyway, we'll have probably 20 or 22 campgrounds we go through, and hopefully the next video that I post will be where we actually are on our way. And unless I get some sneak peeks of Blueray, and if I get a sneak peek, I'll share it with you. If you like videos on this type of thing, there won't be any promotions or anything. I don't ever plan on monetizing the channel. That's not my idea. It's just to give an idea of some of the RV life and what goes on. And it started as the idea of how you order a coach from Newmar, because I've never found any documentation on that. And it's an interesting process. But anyway, subscribe if you're interested, and happy RVing. We'll see you out there in the field someplace.